This is Tomorrowpictures.TV.
Information, not your name.
Palin is qualified as Biden. You know, it'd be crazy for me to sit here and say that she is qualified as Biden. She's not. But does Palin provide what most conservatives are looking for in their leaders? Absolutely. Palin was chosen by the conservatives, so the Democrats and non-Republicans can complain all they want to, but they're not the one who's elected their party representative. Biden is more qualified per se, has more credentials, are not necessarily qualified, but has better proven credentials than Palin. But be as it may, she is who is on the ticket.
The same argument you've just used could be what the Republicans have been saying all along about Senator Barack Obama versus McCain.
Different thing with that is Barack is going to head the nation, where Palin is not.
McCain is 72. There is a chance that he could be taken ill.
Yeah, but it's
can
in the
you see
genes.
Palin ready right now to step in and lead the country in the event that something happens to Senator McCain?
No, I mean not right now. I don't think that she's too ready to run the nation given what's going on in the world right now. The criticism that the Republicans are saying to Barack is probably not valid because it negates one another because of Palin's in the same predicament. I'm not saying that Barack is not qualified. He's earned his rights to be president. But the answer to your question, today, no, Palin is not. In 6 months, I said, yeah. After 6 months and just kind of understanding how it's run, I say so, yeah.
The majority of African Americans have tended to be Democrat, which to me is quite surprising because I would have thought that as a general rule, Black people tend to be very conservative. I would have imagined that some of them would have leaned towards the Republican Party. Do you reckon that it's a case of the African American Republicans being afraid to actually come out and speak in the open about the fact that they do want to vote Republican, especially in the climate that, is seen as if they're going against voting for the potentially first Black president of this country?
Most Black people, I think, are conservatives, but not necessarily voting Republicans because the tide shifted in the 60s. Prior to that, most Blacks were Republicans because of Lincoln was a Republican. Lincoln was the one that passed him, freeing the slaves and everything. And so, most Blacks were voting Republicans or were leaning towards the Republican Party up until the 60s. And what happened in the 60s was when John F. Kennedy called Mrs. King when Dr. King was in the jail and reached out to the Black community. And Nixon, two things happened. Nixon did not reach out to the Black community the way John F. Kennedy did. And also Barry Goldwater, who was a conservative Republican, was against civil rights, but he wasn't against civil rights as a whole. He was just more for states' rights. And the state rights was equated as the states in the South wanted to have the right to determine if the separate and equal was continued or not. And because that happened, the Blacks saw that, the Barry Goldwater and Nixon were not reaching out to the Blacks. When in fact, actually, if you look at it in the 60s, those who were keeping the separate but equal policy were Democrats, not the Republicans. The Republicans were more open and appeasing. It was the Democrats, the Southern Democrats, were the ones who were very, very segregationist. And now, when the Civil Rights passed, a lot of those Democrats did go over to the Republican Party. The Southern Democrats did go over to the Republican Party. But I think as a whole, by nature, Blacks, and me being African descent, being born in Africa and my father is African, by nature, I'm going to be a conservative. But my conservative ways are what they are. Now, I could easily vote for a Democrat. I'm not saying that I will never vote for a Democrat. I'll vote for a Democrat, but I wouldn't join the Democrat Party because there's just too many fluff in there, which, I don't particularly care for.
So I just want to be clear that you believe that Black Republicans are there and they are willing to speak. We just haven't met them, or the fact is that they are more swayed to be voting Democrat this time around because there is a black man who could be the first president.
Yeah, I think you'll get a backlash if a black person were to come out and speak against Barack. You're and now being called, ridiculed for that, as though you're turning your back against history and the black person, which I can totally understand. I don't have any problem voting for. I'd rather not vote and allow Barack to get in than cast my vote against Barack. I'm not casting my vote against Barack, but if the policies were to be more in the middle as opposed to the social issue of it, then I don't have any problem. But as far as the Black Republican coming out, yeah, some of them may be afraid to come out and show their position on things because of the black community will just find them to be just more of a sellout, for the lack of a better term.
Information, not your name.
Tell me, do you like music?
By any means necessary.
Wait till they get a load of me.
Yeah.
All right, so you're here to see the Oscars today, right?
Not really. I'm just here to check out the scene because I'm leaving the town tonight.
Where are you going?
I'm going back to Boston. That's where I stay.
Really? You're not from India?
Never been here?
Huh?
No.
What?
This is the first time.
Oh, okay, great.